From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening, I'm Tim Nelson. Thanks for joining us for the first Carolina Week of the fall semester.
And I'm Brigida Mack. We're proud to once again be bringing you coverage of Carolina news and events. Chancellor James Measer says for a better UNC Chapel Hill, it's all about bucks.
We must assess our funding needs in the context of the current legislative session, while simultaneously moving forward boldly into the most ambitious fundraising campaign in our history.
In a packed first ever State of the University address at UNC Chapel Hill, Measer revealed his plan for a $1 billion private fundraising campaign. He also asked state government officials for their support and funding despite the tight budget. Students beware. Measer also warned of future tuition hikes. Measer says that the university needs funding for development, research, and keeping high-quality staff and professors.
This is a great day in the life of the university. The first university in America should today be first among America's public universities. That is our history, and that is our destiny.
Chancellor Measer says that a culture of excellence exists when we all take pride in one another's accomplishments, and says that that's the mindset at Carolina.
Most students thought they were through paying tuition this semester, but a new retroactive tuition increase is changing that. Reporter Nicole Brusick joins us now to tell us the details.
Tim, the increase has students still owing money for a semester that has already started.
Joe Monaco and Derek Vanderbilt are both out-of-state students here at UNC Chapel Hill, and both owe hundreds of dollars more for their fall tuition.
It's upsetting at the same time, strictly because I've already paid all my bills.
Because of a retroactive 9% tuition increase recently passed by the state legislature, all out-of-state students will get hit for an extra $460. In-state students will receive an additional bill for $47. The problem is students weren't ready for any tuition increase.
A lot of people are upset about it. No one wants to have to pay more money.
A lot of kids have already planned their budget.
Associate Vice Chancellor of Finance, Roger Patterson, says the increase is a two-part process.
There was an original 4% increase by the Board of Governors. The legislature increased it 5%.
That equals a 9% increase that will have to be approved by the Board of Governors on September 14th. And according to Patterson,
the increase is a done deal at this point.
Students have only a short time to come up with the money because right after the increase is approved, the bills go in the mail. Both Vanderbilt and Monaco understand that Carolina needs to charge higher tuition to stay competitive.
It's still significantly less than the other schools that North Carolina is competing with.
Out-of-state tuition at the University of Michigan is about $7,000 more than UNC Chapel Hill. The University of Virginia is about $5,000 more, and UCLA charges out-of-state students about $2,000 more than Carolina. Even though attending UNC is still less expensive than other schools, students may have trouble coming up with the extra money for the tuition increase. And if they can't pay,
state law requires the bills to be paid before you can register for the next semester.
So all students need to find some way to come up with the extra cash before the spring semester.
Nicole, most students have already received their financial aid checks. What should they do if they can't cover the increase?
And Tim, the director of the financial aid department says that they are looking for additional sources to provide students with more funding to help pay the bill. Students should contact the financial aid office if they still have concerns.
Okay, thanks, Nicole. Each week we encourage our viewers to log on to our website, www.carolinaweek.org, to respond to our web question. This week's question deals with the retroactive tuition increase. Please log on and let us know what you think. Do you think the hike is unfair? Are you okay with the hike but upset that it's retroactive? Or do you feel Carolina's tuition is still pretty fair? We'll have the results of our Carolina Week web question right here next week.
The UNC Chapel Hill campus has turned into an obstacle course with 100 major construction projects underway. Carolina Week's Michelle Muscatello tells us the road to university improvement is paved with, well, nothing yet.
Caution. All signs of ongoing construction and probable delays for pedestrians and vehicles. Piles of dirt and heavy machinery are taking over the UNC Chapel Hill campus and causing traffic mayhem.
Drivers around here, I don't trust them anyway, so it'd probably be pretty easy to get hit.
The blocked sidewalk on Manning Drive forced Kane to walk on the road and in the path of vehicles barreling toward him. It's a common occurrence at several construction areas near campus roadways. Pedestrians forced onto the street, often barely avoiding being run over. The Vice Chancellor for Planning and Construction says get used to it. Campus traffic will be rerouted for the next 8 or 9 years.
To have progress and to make repairs, renovations that are necessary, there's going to be some inconvenience. It is not going to be a perfect situation by any means.
But many people say the new traffic routes are far from perfect.
It's kind of a pain in the ass, actually.
Others agree it's hard getting through the narrow construction walkway leading from the pit to the lower quad, one of the busiest areas on campus.
Why is this whole thing blocked off? Just block off that little part right there, because it gets really congested right here, like how it is now.
All of the backup, dust and dirt, is costing the university $1 billion. That's more than double what's normally spent in a year. In Chapel Hill, I'm Michelle Muscatello, Carolina Week.
Last year alone, there were 8 accidents involving pedestrians before construction began. The university now has a pedestrian safety committee that meets monthly. With no end in sight to campus construction, students are disgruntled. In this week's Speak Out segment, we asked students their opinions about the ongoing construction projects across campus.
It just gets in the way. It's loud, it's annoying, it wakes you up in the morning. It's not pretty to look at. Although I know it needs to be done, at the same time I feel like, they could do it at better hours.
One of my major concerns is that almost all the construction is off schedule. It's not going to complete by the original date set.
I think my biggest problem is just getting from point A to point B. I mean, you're going somewhere, it's fenced off, there's like a traffic jam literally.
Well, see, I don't mind construction. It's good, it's productive, but the only thing is, in the morning, I wake up, not to my alarm, no, but the sound of trucks backing up, pushing dirt.
I know that they're doing a lot of construction on South Campus, and it hasn't affected me necessarily, but it's an inconvenience for those students that try to get to class on time.
Our sample isn't scientific and shouldn't be taken as a reflection of widespread opinion on campus.
University police continue to search for answers in the case of a pipe bomb found on the UNC Chapel Hill campus early last week.
This was a serious matter that occurred on campus. Obviously, we want to get to the bottom of it.
The bomb was discovered on Cameron Avenue, and the road was closed for several hours as bomb squad officials blew up the device. University police don't have any suspects, but there may be a link between the explosive and another bomb that went off inside the Sprint building in Franklin County last week. State investigators say the Sprint bomb was very similar to the bomb found here on campus. Carolina graduate Christopher McMillan is charged with possessing an unregistered explosive device in the Sprint building case. McMillan remains in custody, awaiting a psychiatric evaluation.
He was just an average husband, hadn't had any problems with anyone, so it would be hard to understand why somebody like that would be involved in a situation like this.
University police are waiting for results of lab tests done on the pipe bomb found on campus before making any official statements. Business and industry bring jobs and progress to North Carolina, and they bring pollution.
That pollution can have a devastating effect on people who live near those industries.
We'll bring you one woman's story and the sights and sounds of the UNC tradition that has lots of women running wild. Carolina Week continues right after this.
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle, the circle that helps this circle by recycling trash.
We sort glass, plastic, separate cans, stack newspapers and magazines. Now, thanks to us, there are lots of products made from things we've already recycled. This cereal box wants your Sunday paper. These paper clips, in a more daring life, of 56 convertibles. The circle works like this. It starts when we recycle trash at home and at work. It's completed when we buy products made from or packaged in recycled materials. How do you know the difference? Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. It looks like this. Make a mental note. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. You'll save a tree, you'll save energy, and in your own way, you'll help save the world. Complete the circle.
Call 1-800-2-RECYCLE for your free shopping guide. Environmental Defense, finding the ways that work.
You might have noticed new restaurants opening up just steps from the UNC Chapel Hill campus. But with the recent downturn in the economy affecting restaurants across the country, what will the new ones in Chapel Hill do to succeed?
Lucy's is one of the new places offering new tastes to diners around town. It's also a growing hotspot for nightlife. Also swinging open doors recently, Valentino's. The newest addition to the local restaurant scene is Sakura Express, serving customers since just this past Monday. But the Small Business Administration reports restaurant sales across the country have been declining for almost a year. Figures show 80% of all small businesses fail in the first 5 years. And the figure is even higher for restaurants, 90%. Though those figures might leave a bad taste in your mouth, the owners and patrons alike are optimistic about what the new restaurants can bring to the area.
3 restaurants on Franklin Street remain closed: Hardee's, Wicked Burrito, and Taco Bell. Taco Bell closed within the past month. Students returning to Carolina may notice a few changes in the main dining hall. On the campus menu. The university signed a dining contract in response to more than 2,000 student and faculty suggestions. Students said they wanted more popular brands. Officials hope that familiar names like Burger King, Subway, and Jamba Juice will increase student satisfaction with campus dining. Student reaction to the changes has generally been positive.
Food selection has definitely grown at Lenoir, and I think the best part about both of them is that they're open very late, which is great for late night studying. You don't have to trek all the way to Franklin Street if you live on campus.
If you don't like the long lines at Lenoir, you can grab a quick bite to eat at one of the new mobile dining carts located across campus.
With a lot of upperclassmen choosing to stay in residence halls this year and an incoming freshman class of almost 4,000, UNC Chapel Hill is facing a housing crunch. Demand for on-campus housing is way up. About 120 students are temporarily housed in Joyner Hall, where planned renovations have been postponed. Some students signed a petition asking to remain in Joyner for the rest of the semester. Amanda Diebert is one of those students.
I don't like it. I don't like it, actually.
I don't know.
You're right, I agree.
But it could be a long time, it could be a short time. So first we all came with almost nothing, and then had to kind of add to it, and now we're to the point where we've set up a home, and then we still didn't know what was going on, and that's why we decided to take action.
Diebert and others met with UNC officials to discuss housing. Those officials have decided to let students stay in Joyner until December if they want, and are looking at an October 1st deadline to relocate the others. They're also giving freshman students the option to seek off-campus housing. All of those students are spending a small fortune on textbooks, but student stores officials are insisting the high prices are unavoidable. Book prices for many common courses, such as Econ 10 and Bio 11, run more than $100, amounting to pricey totals for students with full class loads. According to a student store's employee, books are simply expensive items to produce because of low sales, expensive graphics, and royalty payments. In addition, the publisher often suggests retail prices which are extremely high, even before student stores makes its markup. The most important point to keep in mind, store officials say, is that all student stores' profits go to scholarships.
North Carolinians are breathing polluted air, and it's getting worse. It's a special problem for North Carolina's lower income residents because many industries that pollute the air are near their homes. Carolina Week's health reporter Tanya Ziegler has that story.
For North Carolina hog farmers, this is the sound of money. But for Duplin County resident Elsie Herring, the hog industry poses a daily nuisance.
It's not like you're smelling the odor traveling on the air or the wind. This is being dumped right in your yard. You're breathing it in.
Herring lives next door to a major hog operation. The smell of hog waste lingers in the air, and when wastewater from the farm is sprayed onto the field next to Herring's property, her mother, Beulah Herring, has to stay inside.
She can't do anything but be held prisoner in her own house on land that she's been living on for 99 years.
Herring's predicament may not be uncommon among many of the state's poor. Epidemiologist Steve Wing says polluting industries like hog farms often locate in poor communities.
In many cases, these communities have been targeted because it's felt that they don't have political power.
And Wing says people living near these industries breathe in chemicals that are bad for their health. The North Carolina Pork Council says studies on air pollution from hog farms are, so far, inconclusive. The council says it hopes ongoing research efforts will give both pork producers and their neighbors a better understanding of the issue in the future. But this is little comfort to Herring.
We don't have a problem with it being a way of life for people around here, farmers, but I don't think it should be coming into people's homes. I don't think it should be in people's air and people's water. I think that's wrong.
Herring says she will continue to fight for cleaner air and a better quality of life. In Duplin County, I'm Tanya Ziegler, Carolina Week.
For information about air polluting industries in your area, check Environmental Defense's scorecard website at www.scorecard.org. Labor Day usually signals the end of summer, but it's still pretty warm outside.
It has been really nice to be outdoors lately. Will the summery weather continue?
Well, summer may be unofficially over, but don't worry, summer-like weather will continue for the weekend and onward into next week. And we'll take a look at your weekend forecast in just a minute. But first, let's check out a weather question. Because we're near the peak of hurricane season, our question is, which hurricane hazard causes the greatest number of human deaths? Is it A, wind, B, storm surge, D, tornadoes, or D, hurricane parties? I'll have your answer and your weather forecast after the break.
When it comes to babies, appearances can be deceiving. Look at this brainwave. Very active. And this one, not doing much. You make the difference by reading, singing, and talking from birth. Studies prove it. An early start. Now that's smart.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. Well, this week started off with a few showers, but the passing of a cold front has given way to sunny skies and drier conditions around campus. This nice weather has made the quad a great place to take a study break and catch up on some reading. Now, even though we're lucky enough to have this nice weather in Chapel Hill, we might need to be reminded that it is the peak of hurricane season. The tropics tend to be the most active right around September the 10th. Now this year we've only had 5 named storms, but Dr. William Gray out in Colorado State, he's been pretty reliable in predicting the tropical weather over the last couple of years. Now this year he's predicting that we're going to have 12 named storms, and out of those 12 named storms, we're going to have 7 hurricanes. 3 will become intense, and by intense we mean that they'll be category 3, 4, or 5. Now, out in the tropics right now, we don't have too much going on, but if we take a look at what is stirring up the ocean right now, we can probably see Tropical Storm Erin Actually, it's brewing off the coast right now. It isn't going to show up on this map quite yet, but Aaron shouldn't be affecting our weather, which is pretty lucky. Now, here's our surface map. This is going to show us what's going to affect our weather over the next couple of days. You can see a low pressure trough situated right over Florida and the Georgia area. Now, luckily, this is going to stay to our south, which will bring us nice weather for the weekend. Now, what does all this weather mean for our 4-day forecast? Well, on Friday, you can expect 84 degrees as your high and mostly sunny skies. Saturday and Sunday look pretty nice as well. A high of 86 can be expected on Saturday, and on Sunday, 83. On Monday, we start to head into the week with a slightly more unstable pattern. We do see a chance for scattered precipitation Sunday night into Monday, but the bottom line is none of that weather that you saw on the map is really going to affect us because the high pressure is so strong, it's going to clear out all the skies and making it a wonderful weekend. Now, if all this nice weather has you wanting to go to the beach, well, let's check out your beach forecast. On Saturday and Sunday, we'll have mostly sunny skies. High will be 85 on Saturday, 88 on Sunday, and lows should stay in the upper 60s. Now, if you're headed out west to the mountains, things look pretty good there as well. On Saturday, you see the chance for some scattered showers. It won't be a complete washout, so if you plan to head outdoors, that's not so bad. High of 81 on Saturday and a nice, comfortable 78 degrees on Sunday. So nice weather prevails around here, but getting back to all that hurricane stuff, can you guess what the answer is to our question?
Tim, you go ahead and take a guess.
I really have no idea. Well, I'll say storm surge.
Actually, yeah, most people don't know that, but there's not much you can do when the ocean rushes forward, so storm surge is the most dangerous aspect of a hurricane.
Thanks, Kelly.
You're welcome.
Well, Ben, I saw that Oklahoma football game, and I thought we'd had a chance against Maryland.
But it just seemed like there was a different team out there on Saturday.
Unfortunately for Carolina, it was a disappointing weekend at Maryland. We'll have highlights from that game, plus coverage of men's soccer and women's field hockey. But back to football, one of the bigger uncertainties has been the play of the quarterbacks. More on that when Carolina Week continues.
When you shop in Orange County, your money comes back to you.
Thank you for shopping Orange.
So shop Orange and see what a difference you can make.
Hello and welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. Heading to College Park, Maryland, Coach John Bunting and the Carolina football team should have felt confident in their first ACC game together. It was just 1 week ago that the Tar Heels impressed a highly ranked Oklahoma team with a strong second half. UNC jumped out to the early lead on its first offensive possession. Tailback Willie Parker sidesteps the Maryland defense and goes the distance. 77 yards later, Carolina up 7-0. That, however, was it for the Heels offense. Maryland ties it up here with this catch and run by Jafar Williams. The Terrapins take the lead for good with a safety, bringing Parker down in the end zone. Julius Peppers manages 3 sacks on the day, but the Terrapins add two more touchdowns and win impressively 23-7. Questions that loom for Carolina football coach John Bunting after the Oklahoma game only grew tougher after the disappointing defeat at Maryland. The main question being, who should be quarterback? Carolina Week's Joe Disney has the story.
So what is a coach to do with 2 quarterbacks in an 0-2 season? UNC's John Bunting would like to know. As it stands,
my quarterback situation remains the same. Ronald's our starter.
Returning starter and senior Ronald Curry has less than impressed. What should have been a breakthrough season has turned into a breakdown.
I would love to see Ronald start and finish the game. That's what I want. That's what I anticipate. But if things present themselves the way that they are, the way they have been, I'll make a change.
Freshman Darian Durant has surprised the Tar Heel faithful with an impressive showing at Oklahoma, leading Carolina on 2 touchdown drives. The reality remains that Curry must think about his NFL future, one that looks dim at quarterback, and Bunting must consider the Carolina program's future. And there's the fans, who always have opinions.
I'm going to give Curry one more time.
3 times, you know. If he can get it this time, you know, but if not, I think he needs to step down.
That's really not up to any of us to decide. It's really, you know, a coach's decision. But the other guy's been looking good. He really has been looking good. Not that good, but good.
So the answer isn't that clear. In Chapel Hill, I'm Joe Disney, Carolina Week.
Whoever starts at quarterback will face the tough task of playing the 4th-ranked Texas Longhorns in Austin on Saturday. Praise for Carolina soccer is no longer reserved for the women. The UNC men's team begins this season as the ACC favorite and the number 4 team in the country. Monday night, the Heels took on Appalachian State. The offense struggles through the first half, but the Carolina defense shuts out the Mountaineers. 1 minute after halftime, Carolina's David Testo drills a shot from 60 feet for a 2-0 lead. Senior Naz Yamauchi put the game away, powering a penalty shot through the net, giving the Heels a 3-0 victory. The team wasn't satisfied with its performance, but Yamauchi knows this team can live up to its early praise.
I think it's just being sharp, really, and giving more heart, really. I mean, we have a great squad. We're real deep. We have a lot of talent. I think it's just all putting it together right now.
The men's soccer team opened its season against ECU, a team that's picked to finish at the bottom of Conference USA. And it didn't take the Heels long to get the scoring started. Mike Gell scores 5 minutes in, Carolina up 1-0. Matt Crawford powers a shot from outside the box past ECU's Doug Powell. Heels up 2-0. They put in 2 more before the end of the half, 4 more in the second half, and Carolina rolls over the Pirates 8-1. The UNC field hockey team is also flying high. The team opened its home schedule this weekend as the number 1 team in the nation against 9th-ranked Penn State. The Tar Heels took a 1-0 lead on a score by Abby Martin in the first half. Penn State tied the game at 1 but couldn't hold back the Heels. Martin scored again in the second half to give Carolina a 3-1 lead that it wouldn't relinquish. The Tar Heels had reason to celebrate as they beat Penn State 3-1 and win their first game as the nation's top team. Carolina followed up the win with a 13-0 victory over Virginia Commonwealth. Abby Martin also scored two goals in that game as well.
Not bad. Good start for the field hockey girls.
Great. It seems like they're on a roll. Looking forward to seeing how men's soccer is going to fare.
Yes, and coming up on Carolina Week, Rush? What's the rush? We thought Rush was over.
Indeed it is, and the fun has just begun with all these hugs and cheers. UNC Bid Day is next.
What is United Cerebral Palsy? Therapy and education. Employment opportunities. Independent living. Family camp. United Cerebral Palsy. Building bridges to independence. You see people, we see promise. Call 800-868-3787.
Every fall, hundreds of young women tour sorority houses, meet the members, and systematically choose if and where they hope to become new members or pledges.
It's called Rush, and it's a two-way decision process with women already in each sorority voting on who to invite to join their sisterhood.
The process ends with bid day and a mad rush of excitement.
So actually, all of the girls will open their bids in unison, and as soon as they do that,
Delta Pi sorority, and I'm very excited. I'm excited not only for this great group of friends, but I'm excited for all the different facets of college life that this is going to bring to me. I'm excited for everything. I can't wait.
That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to watch again next week.
Until then, have a good night and a good week.